often. So one of the questions that comes up for people who've been in car accidents is, how do I choose a good attorney? And, you know, what do I look for in a good attorney? And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, the big firms will hire attorneys to do the grunt work, and some of them are just not very good. Some of them don't care. Some of them end up getting hired on, and then they wander off, or they forget a file, or especially with your really, really big companies, that file might get moved from desk to desk to desk. And the new attorney doesn't know they've been assigned the case that some other attorney had. And so on our end, we typically wait about 6 months before we contact the attorneys to ask for a status update, because it usually takes at least that long for the attorneys to put the demand together, send it out to the insurance companies, and they'll send something back saying, we don't like what you're asking for. So then the attorney has to send it again, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. But occasionally the attorney messes up, or they forget a deadline, or they don't send it, or they moved it to someone else and that someone else didn't pick it up. All of these things happen. And we had a very large law firm go through a major upheaval last year, and so we have about 20 cases that are sitting there that are right at that place where the statute is expiring, and there's nobody over at that attorney's office handling these cases. And so in terms of how to know if you've picked a good attorney or not, you really want to look for one that's been around for a little while, or one that you know you can get a hold of, and you want to be able to follow up with them. And so if it's been a few months, they're not returning your calls, they're not getting back to you, you don't have a settlement that they're working on, it's okay to consider maybe now is the time to go talk to another attorney and move that file over. So typically we don't recommend that you get a new attorney, but if something has happened to the attorney that you have and you just cannot get a hold of them, especially if it's been more than a year, if they are not close to getting a settlement for you and you can't get a hold of them, that is something that at that point you might want to consider talking to somebody else and getting a second opinion. But other than that, it's just kind of you get what you get and hope that they're going to do a good job.